The James Bond Show with Krazy Kajeevie. Hey guys, welcome back to the James Bond Show. I'm your host, Krazy Kajeevie, with no fears, limits, or substitutes, the bad boy of James Bond. Now, you can hardly see me, guys, while I'm wearing my lovely kind of, well, tropical Hawaiian Sydney Swans shirt, which I just thought brought in a bit of the festive spirit. Now, it's only November the 6th. It's November the 6th. It's not quite Christmas, but hey, since I saw Christmas advertising on TV, I thought I would get a little bit Christmas specially here and do a Christmas Carol themed Blu-ray video DVD reveal. So what does all that mean? Well, I'm a bit confused myself, but basically I just wanted to play Christmas carols in the background. So we got Christmas carols while I show you guys my Blu-ray collection. I've got, look, there's probably about over, I don't know guys, there's a few hundred Blu-rays here. Sit back, go and get yourself a Christmas styled eggnog or a coffee or rum and coke, whatever. Or do your dishes, do cleaning up, whatever. You don't even have to sit and watch this whole thing. You can play it in the background, and I'm going to talk you through my films because I just felt like sharing a bit of myself, the films I'm into, and what I've got here. Now, I'm not going to go into a review of every film or we would be here for hours. So some I'm just going to go through quick, some are going to be self-explanatory, some are going to be embarrassing, some I have never even watched. There's a film in here that I've had, I think, for about 12 years, and I've never, 12 years, and I've never watched it. I will explain about ones I have seen. I'll even mention if I've seen some in the cinema. But let's get into this. I'm going to show you my Blu-ray collection, and next video I will do my 3D collection and probably 3D and normal DVD collection with that as well. And I've got box sets too. I've got a few box sets in this one too, but because they're Blu-ray. So let's start, guys. All right, come on. Every collector, every fan of superheroes have to have this. This is the Superman motion picture anthology. So this one has Superman Returns, which I actually love, the one with Brandon Routh, and the quality on that is fantastic. I've got my favorite film. A lot of people probably don't realize this because I'm a James Bond fanatic. You think I'm going to have a James Bond film as my favorite. James Bond film is my favorite series, but the actual film is not my favorite. You know, one film is not my favorite film. My favorite film of all time is the original Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. So I've got the Star Wars Blu-ray pack there, which is incredible. Okay, some people have asked me to show what James Bond DVDs that I have. Well, this is my box set. It's got so many fingerprints over it. It's worn and used, but there's the box set Blu-rays I've got. I've got multiple James Bond DVD sets. I've got heaps, too many to count, but that's a Blu-ray set right there. So I'll put that there. Okay, let's get into the Blu-rays. Just, actually, one more box set. This is the Olympus Has Fallen film. So Olympus Has Fallen, or the Has Fallen films I should call it. Olympus Has Fallen, London Has Fallen, and Angel Has Fallen. Not bad. Not bad. Not great. Not die-hard great. But not bad. The second one gets a lot of flack. I actually really enjoyed it. I reckon the visual effects, especially the helicopter crashing in London, was really, really cool. Now, this one's not going to surprise you guys, but this is actually 4K and Blu-ray. Now, I don't have a 4K TV yet, but this one's not going to surprise you, and it is the steel case. No Time to Die. No Time to Die steel case right there. I'll open that up for you. There you go. So, okay, Gremlins. Yes, I have Gremlins. Absolute classic. I love this film, directed by Joe Dante. I saw it at the cinema as a kid. Congo, I was told about Congo for years. I hadn't seen it for a long time. I bought it, I put it on, and I loved it. And I'm going back to watch this one again really, really soon. That is a good 2 hours on the couch. Just bought this recently, just watched it a few days ago. Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit with Chris Pine, and I gotta admit, I enjoyed it. I'm upset it didn't get a sequel because it came out like, what, 8 years ago now. 2014, I think. Kevin Costner's in it too. And it's actually directed by Kenneth Branagh, who I think should be M in the next James Bond film. That is my pick for the next M. Hopefully in Bond 26 they refresh the Scooby Gang. So I liked it. It wasn't bad. Now, a film I wanted to make for years, I could do an entire video on this story. Film I wanted to do as a filmmaker myself was Roald Dahl's The BFG, because growing up, The BFG was my favourite children's novel. When I was a little kid, like grade 4, and I read The BFG, oh my goodness, I loved it. And I wanted to do a film on it, and Steven Spielberg ended up getting the rights, and he did it, and I really enjoyed it. So, BFG there. Just saw this one about 2-3 weeks ago. Finally saw it. Had it for quite a while, about 6 months on Blu-ray. Finally watched it, adrift. My boy Sam Claflin, who I think would make a great James Bond, and Shailene, I believe it. Yep, it's Shailene Woodley. Her performance in this was incredible, based on a true story. Really enjoyable. I liked it. Okay, Ghostbusters Afterlife, the new one. Really liked that. Okay, didn't watch all of this. Watched more than half of it. Danny Trejo in Badass, because to be honest, guys, it just got a little bit crap. Okay, Terminator Salvation, I reckon, is the most underrated Terminator film. I actually have that on standard DVD, and I loved it so much I wanted to get it on Blu-ray, and I saw it at the cinema. Great film. Terminator 3, also a bit underrated, nowhere near as good as 1 and 2. Look, it was a bit of a cash grab, but it does have some good moments in it, especially seeing Kristanna Loken's naked butt. Yummy. Last Starfighter, 80s classic. Did not see this until recent. It was one of these, classic 80s films that I thought, well, look, I finally better get it. I think my older brother Rob, I think he went and saw it at the cinema when we were kids. He got to go see it, but we didn't see it for some reason. But not bad. Not bad film. Falling Down, Michael Douglas, classic. Saw it at the cinema. Watched about 15 minutes of this. The space between us. Yeah. Probably should go back and revisit it, but not sure if I'm brave enough. The original Terminator, I was only 9 years old when this came out, not even. And what was it, 84? Yeah, so I was about 9, so I did not get to see that at the cinema. I remember lying to my teacher, my grade 4 teacher. I told her that I went and saw it at the cinema, and I lied right to her face. And she said, but it's R-rated and it's very violent. Your parents wouldn't take you to see it. And I still looked her right in the eyes, lied to her, and said I saw it. So that's something I remember from that. Jim Carrey, saw this at the cinema, When Nature Calls. Love this film. Love the original. Best. Got to get the original on Blu-ray. Okay, this is the Alien Pack. Love Aliens. The second one is great. I actually saw the fourth one at the cinema. And I still have not watched Alien 3. I've watched probably half of it, and I always get bored, always fall asleep, so I've still never fully watched Alien 3. Uncharted, based on the video games, with Tom Holland, the man that should never play James Bond, and it kind of got bagged. I have the first 3 video games of that on PlayStation 3, and it wasn't that bad. It wasn't... I had fun with it. It's not the most honest, great conversion from video game to film, but you know what? Sometimes I'm like an easy lay. If it's just, I'll just lay back on the couch and have fun. Rain Man. This is an absolute classic. Came out when I was a kid. Didn't get to see it at the cinema. Great film. Tom Cruise, Dustin Hoffman. Saw this film. Got it in the last year. Finally got it. Hocus Pocus. Actually had it for ages on Blu-ray. And finally got around to watching it a little while back, and I actually I enjoyed it. But I do like those spooky Halloween type films because I love the production design, and I found that film really fun. And they're actually making a sequel to it. One of the greatest films ever made, in my top 10. I love it. Saw it as a 14-year-old when it came out at the cinema in 1989, and I still remember going to see it at the cinema and the hype, living through the hype of Batman, as we call it now, Batman 89. So good. Frost Nixon, really good film about how David Frost gets Nixon to admit he was a dirty, rotten liar, pants on fire on live TV. Oh my goodness, White House Down, a Roland Emmerich film. I wish I could get the 2 hours back of my life that I spent watching that. Bodyguard, saw it at the cinema. And I actually like that film. Not being gay or anything, but I'd probably turn gay for Kevin Costner in The Bodyguard because that dude was awesome. Jumanji. Speaking of gay, this gave me really uncomfortable feelings as Jack Black he's Jack Black, but he's the mind or the person of a young female girl, but he becomes the old fat guy, and then he's hitting on a young kid dude through the film, and it is really uncomfortable watching. I just found that really... The founder, Michael Keaton, coming back as usual, doing great films. This is a film about, I think his name was Ray Kwok, who basically stole the idea from McDonald's, got in with the McDonald's brothers, took their idea and took it worldwide. Not a bad film. Not a bad film. Wall-E, I watched all of this film except, I think, the last 15 minutes, and I don't know why. It's a sin, guys. Punish me. But Wall-E, really should go back and finish off watching that. Okay, one of the worst films ever made. Saw it at the cinema. Wanted my money back. Batman and Robin. 5 minutes in, I knew it was an absolute piece of shit. 10 Commandments, great film. Charlton Heston as Moses. X-Men First Class, yeah, it was good. Not bad. That time a decent director. I'm pretty sure that was Matthew Vaughn that came on board with that. Jurassic World, didn't see it at the cinema. Blu-ray transfer, nice, good, awesome. Enjoyed it, really enjoyed it. Didn't think it was as good as the hype I heard about it though. Conan the Barbarian, saw this as a kid. We'll always remember the bit where James Earl Jones, aka Darth Vader, chops that woman's head off. Top Gun, very special movie to me. Cannot wait until November 22 when Top Gun 2 Maverick comes out finally on Blu-ray. And I saw this. This was the first and last film I ever got to see with my dad alone at the cinema. He was a fighter pilot. I wanted to be a fighter pilot, and he took me to see this. And then pretty much after seeing that, I really wanted to be a filmmaker. But there you go. Highlander. Great film. Christopher Lambert. If you haven't seen this film, guys, my goodness, it is now a cult classic. Godzilla, King of Monsters, King of Crap. Real Steel. Only ever watched this once. Hugh Jackman film. Only watched it once. Really enjoyed it. This is on my list of films. I'm even going to put it there so it doesn't get lost in the pile of my films to go back to and watch again. Good, nice family film, recommended family film. No gratuitous sex, violence, or any crap. Speaking of gratuitous violence, the Transporter, Jason Statham, 1 and 2 there. The remake, which I do have, crap, I didn't even finish watching it. The Rocketeer, very underrated film. Joe Johnson, let me check. His name should be on here somewhere. Yep, Joe Johnson. Timothy Dalton is in that. This was a film that Dalton did just prior to turning down GoldenEye, and he looked great in that, and that's a film that proves he could have come back and been a great GoldenEye a year later in 1995. Hacksaw Ridge, saw it, only seen it once, saw it at the cinema, loved it, incredible. Had this now on Blu-ray for about 2 or 3 years, still haven't watched it. But I remember seeing the film at the cinema and it was great. Mission Impossible, the original with Tommy Cruise, also saw this at the cinema. Had this on DVD now Blu-ray for about 2 years, still haven't watched it, and it's in plastic wrap. Was highly recommended this film. The John Hughes classic Breakfast Club was recommended this by a once friend of mine now who is a dirty fat Judas. Saw this film, loved it. Actually loved it. It's one of the only truthful good things that came out of that piece of crap's mouth, but that was a good recommendation. Star Wars, oh my goodness, what did they do? Star Wars, The Rise of Skyship, right there. They raped that franchise. I did see it at the cinema. I decided to get it on Blu-ray because there are some cool action scenes and moments, and it's better than The Last Jedi, which we'll get to later, I'm sure, because that abomination, for some reason, hate me people, that's fine, is in this pile of Blu-rays. Chips, based on, this is a dirty, crass, nudie, swearing, sex scene version of the very innocent 80s TV, I think late 70s, 80s TV show that I grew up on as a kid. chips with Dax Shepard and what's his name, Michael Penner. Some people say Pena. I think I just say Penner, whatever. So yeah, it's actually really funny but quite crass. The Grinch, loved this. Saw it at the cinema. Saw it at the cinema with my mom, my momsy. And she loved it. I loved it. I saw it a couple of times. And every Christmas, I pull the Grinch out. Not my Grinch, the Grinch. Field of Dreams. Didn't get to see this at the cinema. Great film though, guys. If you haven't seen Field of Dreams, Kevin Costner, while he was working on this film, he was going into his trailer and he was actually writing and working on the screenplay for Dances with Wolves. Behind Enemy Lines. Don't think I got to see this at the cinema. Great film. It's in plastic, but I have seen it. I've seen it. I used to have it on DVD, but yeah, I've got to get around to it. I'm going to put that in the to watch pile because it is a good film. Lethal Weapon 3. This came out while I was working at the cinema while I was still at high school. So there you go. I saw this. I was in my last year of high school. And yeah. 93, wow, nearly 30 years ago, and Lethal Weapon 3, it's okay. 1 and 2 are the best though. Terminator 2, Judgment Day, arguably the greatest big action film ever made, arguably the best Terminator film ever made, but I still prefer the original, because I just love Arnie as the killer. T-800, Justice League, Zack Snyder's 400-hour version of super crap, bat crap, Flash crap, Wonder Woman crap. Look, it was better than the Joss Whedon version, which I used to own, and I sold it, got rid of it at a market stall. And just on that, guys, I used to have so much more DVDs and Blu-rays than this. I used to have massive amount, but I sold lots of at market stalls. I got rid of them. Sicario, Day of the Soldano, the sequel to Sicario, not bad. Liked it. Dark Knight Rises, saw it when it came out at cinemas. Wow, 10 years ago, 2012 they came out. Yeah, it was good, but yeah. War of the Worlds. Now, this is a film I've gone back to recently. I've watched this 2 times in the last, I think, 6 weeks. I freaking love this film. I know the last third act gets a little bit right? Especially when he meets up with Tim Robbins in the house. But guys, if you haven't seen this, and if you've never watched it with an incredible sound system, I have a Sony Muteki 3D home theater sound system, and the sound is insane. You can hear it blocks away. The sound design on that is incredible with a decent sound design, and I really love that film. Creed 2, didn't see it at the cinema. Oh, by the way, I did see War of the Worlds at the cinema too, but Creed 2, haven't seen any of the Creeds at the cinema, have seen that though, and I enjoyed it. Blackwater Abyss, this is an Aussie film. I just watched this a few days ago. People bag it. It was one of the first films that came out after the pandemic and the cinemas opened up. I didn't mind it. Hannah, haven't seen this for years. Eric Banner, average. Okay, Valerian, this thing goes for about 300 hours. It's actually, where's the time on here? 239-minute film, so it's epic. I've watched about 15 minutes of it and turned it off because I just wanted to get the gist of it. That's in my to-watch list. I've got to go back and watch that properly because visually it is stunning. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, saw this at the cinema when it came out in 1990. I was like a 15-year-old kid, freaking loved it, and anyone who's dumb enough to go Turtles and doesn't want to watch that film and hasn't gone back to watch this film, this is the 1989 Batman of Ninja Turtle films. Whoever doesn't want to watch this film and celebrate how good this thing is a douchebag. And you know who you are, douchebag. Ad Astra, looks visually stunning, bit boring though. Jungle Cruise, bit convoluted. I love, some good action in there. I love the big colours, the big production design. Look, you can hate on me all you want, people, but in my collection I have Scooby-Doo, Shaggy, Scooby-Doo. And just as I did that, little Scooby has come to the corner of the door. Hello, Scoobs, my little puppy dog Scoobs, who most of you will know. But Scooby-Doo, 1 and 2, Blu-ray pack. I love them. You know why I love them? Because they're just kiddie fun. Turn your brain off, eat popcorn, have fun. Arrival, I've watched more than half of it. Visually, it's striking and all that, but I did end up watching the rest of it. That's in the to-watch pile. Man from U.N.C.L.E., Henry Cavill's audition for James Bond. I only watched it once, was a bit underwhelmed by it. That's also in the to go back to bunch. Mad Max Road Warrior or Mad Max 2, freaking Aussie classic. The original Creed, I liked it. Spider-Man, just seen this recently. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Thought it would be really woke and left-hard. It is a little bit woke, but I enjoyed it. There was huge hype on it. I didn't love it as much as it was hype, but I thought it was a really good film. This is in my top 5 greatest films of all time. If you haven't seen Into the Wild, directed by Sean Penn, true story about Chris McCandless, just go get it. Go get it. Now, guys, I don't have streaming. I don't have Netflix, NetDix, whatever they are, Amazon Prime. I don't have any of that crap. I just buy Blu-rays because to me, there's something about having that hard physical copy, I said copy, in your hand. Ninja Turtles 2. It got a little bit too kiddie by about this time. They took the weapons away from the Ninja Turtles, but it's good fun. Narnia, Lion, Witch in the Wardrobe. Still haven't seen this. Had it for about 3 or 4 years. I have seen it. I saw it at the cinema. I just haven't seen it on Blu-ray. That is in my to-do pile. Bought this about 8 weeks ago. Still have not watched it, and I did not see it at the cinema, so I haven't seen it, guys. Let me know what you think about it. Christopher Nolan's Interstellar. The reason I haven't got around to seeing it yet is because I know it's a big, long film, and I've got to be in the mood for it, but I did buy it because I wanted to watch it. Underrated classic, Johnny English. This is the first one. Loved it. Haven't seen this. Heard it's pretty crap. Got it because it was $5 and I'm cheap, so I bought it. Tom Hardy, the guy that will never play James Bond as Al Capone. Apparently, it's just not that good because he's old Al Capone. And if you buy an Al Capone film, I guess you want to see a young Al Capone. What's this one? Batman Forever. Saw this at the cinema. Val Kilmer, Green Lantern. Didn't see it at the cinema, but bought it on Blu-ray. And yes, it's crap, and it's directed by Martin Campbell, who did GoldenEye and Casino Royale. Which one's this one? Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation. I actually love this one. That man's incredible. I don't say what you want about him, couch jumping, crazy Fruit Loop Scientologist. He's in bloody good films though. The Bourne Legacy, boring. Eddie the Eagle, Hugh Jackman, the guy that should never either play James Bond as well, Taron Egerton. Great film though. Really, really love that film. Fred Claus. I have got to put this on my to-do list because I've watched more than half it, and for some reason, I don't know, not because I hated it, it's not super funny, but I just never end up finishing it all. Transformers, saw it at the cinema, 2007. I think Bumblebee is the best Transformers film ever made. This is the second one. Loved it when I saw it at the cinema, and after that, oh, got crap. Speaking of crap, Transformers 2, Revenge of the Fallen, crap. Event Horizon, was recommended to me. I'm a big fan of Oliver Harper's channel, Oliver Harper's Retrospectives, and the Aussie guy, Minty Comedic Arts, and they both recommended this, so I went and bought it, and I enjoyed it. It's not bad. It's not a bad film. I didn't love it like everyone said I probably would, but it wasn't bad. Kingsman, The Secret Service, the first Kingsman, seen it once, was absolutely disgusted by the Christian church scene where it made out Christians to be crazy homophobe murderers and killers and whatnot. That was disgusting. Yeah, that's a piece of shit. Never going to watch it again. The Rocket, haven't seen it yet, really want to see it, that's why I bought it, still in plastic wrapping. That's my to-do list, really looking forward to that. Lethal Weapon 2, as I said before guys, absolute classic, love that one. The original Mad Max, shot in many different parts here in Victoria, not far from me as well. I can go and visit those locations. Jurassic Park 3, highly underrated Jurassic Park film. I saw it at the cinema. I loved it. I always have a good time with this film. I don't understand why it gets bagged so much. Okay, you're going to think I'm crazy. Had this for ages on Blu-ray, Beetlejuice, and I love 80s films. And again, I've watched about 30 minutes of it, and for some reason I get tired or whatever, and I don't end up watching it. And I promised myself I'd watch it for Halloween this year, and I didn't get around to it. Oh, less said about this, the better. Star Wars, the last, as I call it, the last abomination. Piece of shit! Back to the Future trilogy, one of the best trilogies ever made, and thank goodness Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale, the producers of it and makers of it, will not let any film studios get their hands on it and screw it up. About time. Really enjoyed this film. Loved it. Loved this film. Was highly recommended to me by my sister actually. and I really enjoyed it. Kill Bill, my personal favourite Tarantino film. I saw this, nearly 20 years ago, 2003. Saw this in the cinema, and I was about 45 minutes in, and I felt like going out to the box office and handing them more money because I felt like I had ripped them off for not paying them enough money because I was watching an absolute... That is a masterpiece. Super 8, saw it at the cinema as well. JJ, or as they call him, JJ Abrams. Mini Spielberg, discount Spielberg. Not a bad film. Some great sound design and some good scenes. Willow. Gotta get the plastic off and watch that. Have seen it though many years ago and loved it. That's why I've got it. One of my favourite Batman films. Absolutely underrated. Love Batman Returns. I've got that on DVD now. I've got it on Blu-ray. Street Cat Named Bob, based on a true story. Based on the book of the true story. And sadly... No, I'm not going to say anything in case, but just watch this film, guys. And it's actually directed by James Bond director Roger Spottiswoode, who directed Tomorrow Never Dies as well. So there you go. One of the greatest films ever made, action adventure, and this basically exists because the producers of Bond wouldn't let Spielberg direct a Bond film. Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade. Nothing needs to be said about that hasn't already been said. G.I. Joe, Rise of Cobra. Criminally underrated, some horrible visual effects in some scenes, and then in some scenes, some brilliant visual effects. It looks like they ran out of money at the last part of the film, but highly underrated. I enjoy it for a big, dumb action film. The first two Ghostbusters, followed by the 2016 Abomination, is on there, so I did watch it for that reason. And it's not as bad as what they said about it, but it looks great. Production, design, sound, all that. Score looks good, sounds good, feels good. But it's crap. Anyway, Paddington. Yeah, look, I'm a big kid and I've got nephews, so I buy some kiddies films. That's my excuse, people. I'm sticking to it for if the nephews ever come over and they can watch it. Snake Eyes, bought it. Henry Golding, the man that they reckon is going to be the first Malaysian fried rice eating James Bond. That's racist. Bought it, watched it. Crap, boring. Oh my goodness. That could have been so much better. Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, saw it at the cinema. Freaking awesome. Jaws came out in the year I was born. Wow, 1975. A very good year. And apparently the first ever big blockbuster, but I dispute that because I reckon 1964's Goldfinger was the first ever blockbuster. Beverly Hills Cop. The trilogy pack, 1 and 2, absolute classics. Number 3, saw number 3 at the cinema. Waterworld, saw it at the cinema. This is not the horrible film people make out. It was just all the crap that they made out about that film. It is Mad Max on water, but it is a big, dumb, enjoyable film. Oh, this is a classic. Took me years to finally sit and watch it all. I love this film on a visual level. Oh man, and John Williams' score on that is incredible. Mission Impossible 3, one of my personal favourites of the Mission Impossible lot. JJ Abrams' first feature film actually. Argo, not bad. Ben Affleck, good film. Don't think it should have won the Academy Awards, it did, but it's alright. Johnny English, this is the third one, strikes again. Rolled on the floor stupid laughing at that in the cinema. Jurassic Park Lost World, another one I saw at the cinema. Most of these I did see at the cinema. Yes guys, I have a romantic side to me and I love me some Italy. So I have Under the Tuscan Sun with, I think it's Diane Lane in that. Is it Diane Lane? Should I check? Yep, Diane Lane. And I loved it. I love little romantic comedies. So there you go. I'm revealing a bit too much about me. Fast and Furious 5, the film that really brought back the Fast Furious franchise, and the bank heist scene is brilliant. Film's a bit, it's not as good as they make it out, but that scene is incredible. Dunkirk, seen it once, incredible sound design and all that, but got a bit bored with that one. This is a film I bought for $5. I've got about 2 copies of this for some reason. I ended up with 2 copies. See, there you go. I always tell the truth. It must be so good, that's why I have 2 copies, but I bought it for like in a $5 bargain bin and took a chance on it, read it, pulled my phone out, looked at the trailer online, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to take a chance on it and watch it. This is brilliant, and this is the film that launched the career of Colin Trevorrow, who ended up directing Jurassic Park World, and he was going to direct the 9th Star Wars film, the 3rd in the new crap trilogy, but he got sacked because he didn't want to kill off Luke Skywalker and he wanted, you know, it to actually be a good Star Wars film, so they sacked him. Independence Day, saw it at the cinema, have it on Blu-ray, have it on DVD as well. Love it. Don't care what you say about it. It's cheesy as a Hawaiian pizza with extra cheese, but it is classic. Tokyo Drift, I enjoyed it. That is not a bad film. Better than the second one. Bad Boys 2. This is one of my favourite films of all time. M. Night Shyamalan's Signs with Mel Gibson, Joaquin Phoenix. That film is so good. Spaceballs. I see your Schwartz says as big as mine. What's his name? Asshole, sir. No, what's his name? Asshole. Great film. Love that. Great spoof comedy. Mr. Popper's Penguins, another one I bought potentially. My excuse for the nephews. It's okay. Crap. War Dogs. This film is the shiz. This is based on a true story with Fatboy Jonah Hill and Miles Teller, who is a freaking awesome young actor. Really good. Blade Runner, guys. And Andrew out there, my buddy Andrew. Yes, I still haven't seen Blade Runner. It's in plastic. Never watched it. It's there to one day finally do it. Warhorse. I love this film. I cried like a bitch thinking it was a true story. Then I did research after I watched it and found out it wasn't a true story, and I haven't been able to go back to it. Transformers, Age of Extinction. Borrowed this from a friend. He never got it back because I'm a lousy friend. No, I just haven't caught up with him to give it back. And yeah, watched about the first hour of it. It goes for about 1,000 hours like every Michael Bay film, and crap. Zathura, this sound design on this film. I have got this on Blu-ray because of the sound design on this film, and especially on my sound system. This is a good, fun, kiddie, family-friendly film. Jurassic Park, Fallen Kingdom, crap. Hotel Transylvania 3, I love this series. Now, this is a film I've bought because it's a filmmaker's film, and it's one you've got to see because it's recommended by a lot of big-time directors who say it's an incredible film, Rafifi, and guess what? I've had it for about 8-9 years now, and I still haven't watched it. That's why it's still all in wrap. Okay, Clint Eastwood classics, Every Which Way But Loose, and Every Which Way You Can. If you have not seen those two Clint Eastwood films where he fights a prize fighter, like a street fighter, comedy, incredible. Get yourself that double set. Sharknado, still have not been able to watch all of it because I'm just like, I got close. I'm towards the latter stages of it, but you got to be drunk with that one. Okay, The Thing. This was another one recommended to me by a former friend who I now call Judas or Fat Fuckle, and he hyped The Thing for me. I thought The Thing was pretty boring, to be honest, really. Not my thing. And also Escape from New York. Not bad. Again, both films were really hyped. The Fog is in there too. Haven't watched that, but overrated. Yeah. JFK. Didn't see it at the cinema. I have seen it before though. Good film. Really exposes the truth. The fact that JFK was murdered. It wasn't a man on the grassy knoll. Okay, Booksmart. Highly recommended to me. Watched half of it. Got really just... I didn't like all the blasphemy and the swearing in it. Turned it off. Didn't go back to it. One of the greatest films ever made. I don't care what you say. This is in my top 5, even though my top 5's really got about 20 films. In my top 5, Christmas Vacation. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Saw it at the cinema, and it's got one of the greatest intro songs ever. Christmas Vacation. Alright, Percy Jackson, The Lightning Thief. Seen it once. Okay, haven't seen the others. Probably should have. Maybe I should go back and give it another go. Edward Scissorhands, absolute classic. Tim Burton and weirdo pedo man himself who dates girls that poop in his bed. Edward Scissorhands, what's his name? Johnny Deppski. John Wick, seen it once, didn't buy the whole he's going to go absolute ass man, crazy hitman because someone killed his dog, but hey, I guess he was a former hitman anyway. Okay, not a bad film. I haven't seen 2, 3, and I think there's a 4th one coming out. Galaxy Quest, highly recommended to me, finally saw it. Did enjoy it. Again, I didn't think it was as great as the hype about it, but I enjoyed it. Saw this at the cinema in 1982 as a 7-year-old. Cried my freaking brains out. One of the best. One of the great films. E.T. Absolutely love it. Mission Impossible Fallout. Again, another film. It was great, but not as great as all the hype made it out to be. Missed it, unfortunately, at the cinema, but still pretty good. Three Musketeers. Have seen it before, really enjoyed it. Good film, not a bad film. Geostorm, love the visual effects, sound design and all that, but yeah, it does get a bit convoluted and a bit stupid, but not bad. One of my all-time favourite films, this is definitely my top 5. It's actually my number 3 favourite film of all time, 500 Days of Summer. Guys, if you're ever dating a girl and you're not sure that that girl's the right one for you, you need to watch this film. If you dated a girl and she's ripped your heart out, torn your guts out, you need to watch this film. Just trust me on that. And the soundtrack, which I have as well, is incredible. And I'll tell you a funny story about that too quickly, guys. I was outvoted. There were 3 of us. I was dating a girl at the time. She was with us and a mate. They outvoted me. I wanted to go see a stupid action film, which I can't even remember now what it was. They outvoted me. We went in and saw that. 5 minutes in, I knew that girl was the wrong girl for me. 10 minutes later, I'm like, this is the best film ever made, and I'm going to have to get this on Blu-ray. And that's 500 Days of Summer. Race, still haven't seen it. That's in my pile of to-do. That's about Jesse Owens, the black Olympic runner dude, and I think he's the one that Adolf Hitler wouldn't give a medal to or something like that. So I haven't seen it yet. Goonies, classic. Grown up, saw this at the cinema. I was on a date with a female copper and saw that at the cinema. And yeah, copped a feel after that later too. John just being naughty. John, yeah, not my thing, man. Speaking of copping feels, there's showing too many people copping feels in that film. Yeah, full-on sex stuff, pretty gross. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, that's why I got it, because it was his directorial debut, but interesting film. Young Guns 2, saw it at the cinema. A lot of people may not know this about me. I'm a massive Billy the Kid fan, so I'm obsessed with the history of Billy the Kid and actually want to write a screenplay about what I believe is the true story of Brushy Bill Roberts, who is featured in this film. Not the real Brushy Bill, but Emilio playing him, that came out of the woodwork, I think it was around 1950, and said he was Billy the Kid. And wow. Anyway, Schwarzenegger Commando, 80s classic. The Transporter, don't buy that. If you have it in your collection, use it as a paperweight. Rocky 4, proudly got to see this. This is the first Rocky film I got to see at the cinema as a kid. Goosebumps 2, told you I love these big adventure action, fun Halloween type films, spooky films. Goosebumps 2, I saw that at the cinema as well, and I really, I enjoyed it. The Foreigner, directed by Martin Campbell, Jackie Chan and Pierce Brosnan. Not a bad film. Not a bad film. I do recommend it. Rambo. How many we got? Yep, 4 Rambo films in there. The 5th one's not in there. And I think they are all fantastic. That is a staple in the diet of an action film fan. Battleship. I love the fact it's all set in Hawaii. Big sound, big dumb popcorn movie. Didn't get to see it at the cinema. Fast 8, guys. Didn't see this at the cinema either. I don't think I've ever seen any. Oh, I've seen one. I was on a date too with a kind of hot Russian chick when I saw Fast Furious 6. So I only go and see these films at the cinema when I'm on a date with a hot Russian chick. Zombieland. I wish I did see this at the cinema. Still haven't seen the sequel, but I love this film. I have a t-shirt of it as well. Zombieland. Highly recommended. Lethal Weapon 4. Saw this at the cinema with a girlfriend who broke my heart. It's funny how you equate things in your life with films you've seen. So Lethal Weapon 4, not too bad. Jet Li's in that one as well. Okay, Star Wars The Force Awakens, the film that gives you all the questions and we never get the answers for. Overrated Star Wars film, but a bit of fun. Die Hard quadrilogy, one of the greatest franchises, greatest series ever. Doesn't have number 5, and it's funny, when I bought this at a store called JB Hi-Fi, which is a big superstore here in Australia, the girl said to me, this is what she said, true story, "Oh, just want to tell you, it doesn't have Die Hard 5 in it." And I said, that's why I'm buying it. So there you go. Still haven't seen this film, ordered it on eBay, got to get around to it. The Martian, Matt Damon, directed by Ridley Scott. Let me know in the comments below, guys, what do you think of this film? And let me know, overall, what do you think of my Blu-ray collection? Well, we're getting through it, guys. We're getting through it. King Kong, not many to go. King Kong, the Ultimate Edition, saw it at the cinema, visual effects, won an Oscar for it, love that film. Logan Lucky, Daniel Craig, bought it because I heard all the hype about it, could barely understand a word of it, should be in full subtitles. Watched about half an hour of it, turned it off. Got to go back and give it another chance. Pearl Harbor, we don't talk about that film. The Monster Squad, in my top 20. Love it, love it, love it. This film is so good. It almost gets a ding, 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 ding meter. If you haven't seen it, go see it. Well, don't go see it because it came out in the cinema like over 30 odd years ago, but get yourself some Monster Squad. I actually prefer this over Goonies, and it's like the Goonies with monsters. Starship Poopers. Oh, that's the porn version. Starship Troopers, saw it at the cinema, found it a bit boring, bought it on Blu-ray, thought I've got to go back to it over 20 years later, haven't got it out of the wrapping yet, so I'm going to go back to that soon. Oblivion, also bought it off eBay, on the hype because this is the same guy that directed Top Gun 2, Maverick. Haven't watched it yet, but I'm going to watch that. Deadpool. Ugh. Deadpool. This is one of the best. This is the best zombie film, in my opinion, ever created. And this is what I call the Shawshank Redemption of zombie films. If you have not seen this, and I know, guys, I muck around and I joke a lot. If you have not seen Train to Busan, just buy it on Blu-ray. If you can get it on Netflix, Amazon, whatever. Get this film. Watch this film, Train to Busan. It's not just the best zombie film. It's one of the best films ever made. This film is unfreaking believable. Even if you have to sit there and read Korean subtitles. It's a Korean film. It is a masterpiece. Masterpiece. Rush. Ron Howard. Loved it. Loved it. True story. I really love that film. Rise of the Planet of the Apes. The one with James Franco, the first one. Boring shit. Endgame. Oh my goodness. This was such... I didn't see it at the cinema. It was such a disappointment. I much prefer Infinity War. I've got so many of all the Marvel films, the big action films, but they're in 3D, so they'll be my 3D video review. I just found that convoluted and crap. Lethal Weapon. Classic. Masterpiece. Now, this is a film I've had for 12 or 13 years now. The Adjustment Bureau. It's out of the wrapper. Still never watched it. Brad Pitt, Moneyball. Love this film. This is brilliant. This was recommended to me by my brother. He was right. It's really good. Fast and Furious 7. Didn't see it at the cinema because I wasn't dating a Russian chick. The greatest submarine film of all time, Das Boot, which is by, what's his name? Wolfgang Petersen, German director, who also did The Neverending Story. Greatest submarine film you will ever watch. Though you're going to need a few coffees to get through it. It's a very long film. Have not seen this yet. Still in plastic. Coming and going. I bought it because it was cheap. And like I said earlier, I'm cheap. So, got to see that one. I think this film needs no introduction. Very underrated Bond film. Spectre. Snowden. Not bad. Not bad. Love this film. Recommended to me by my sister. The Untouchables. Really good film. Based on a true story. Battle Los Angeles. If you ever wanted to be a soldier shooting the shit out of aliens in Los Angeles, this is a film for you. Not a bad film. I love this film. I don't care what anyone says about J.J. Abrams, J.J. Binks, whatever they call him these days. I love the first Star Trek film he made. Brilliant. Never-ending story. Saw it at the cinema. The big wolf scared the shit out of me. And every time this comes on and you see the wolf's face when he's in that cave, oh my goodness. I still poo my pants. Okay, this has probably got crazy worst green screen ever, but Roland Emmerich film again. I enjoyed it though, Midway, about the Battle of Midway, so World War II films. I enjoyed it. Guys, that is my Blu-ray collection. Oh, I watched it last night, so it's sitting out there, but I also have Bumblebee, the Transformers film, which I mentioned earlier, and I love that film. That is my Blu-ray collection. I used to have so much more, but that's it at this stage, because I did get rid of a lot of films, and there's still a lot here I probably still need to get rid of. Hope you've enjoyed this special edition of the James Bond Show, and let me know which films in here that you hate and the ones you love. Till next time, guys, keep on bonding, keep on Blu-raying, and say hi to your mum for me. God bless. See ya. Baby.